open mics important to get booked, at a comedy club? Yes. And it might be weird ways that it's beneficial to you. So number one is not all booking managers or club managers pay attention at open mics. I ran open mics for years, and I specifically didn't watch the show because I didn't want to be tainted by your material, because an open mic is for you to practice. And as a booker, I don't want the pressure of me watching your performance to make you not work on the other jokes. Instead, you're trying to impress me. So I typically would stay away. Matter of fact, I didn't even go to the open mics unless it was convenient for me. But if I was there, I would mentally shut out what's happening on that stage and not judge you based upon what you're doing up there. On the flip side, other booking managers, and I know like the Little Rock Looney Bin, for instance, that booking manager, he watches everybody at the open mic, and that is his tryout. So every venue is going to be a little bit different. But here's the benefit of an open mic, okay? An open mic is where you can hang out with fellow comedians and build relationships with them. It is where you can practice your art and practice new bits or try new tags. Normally an open mic sucks as far as an audience. It's a whole bunch of comedians waiting for their time to go up, and they're probably going to be loud and obnoxious in the back of the room, and you're lucky if you get a few people up front. I have seen a few comedy clubs that have open mics that actually have really phenomenal customers, and they show up in piles. But what you're trying to do with an open mic is to work on your material. And a lot of comics will sit there going, "Oh, I don't do open mics. I only do paid gigs." But I was up in Boston and I was talking, and Bill Burr does open mics. So don't think for a moment you're better than an open mic. An open mic is where you practice between paid gigs. Matter of fact, I've had open mics before when a headliner came in early for the weekend, and maybe I had a Wednesday night open mic or something, and the headliner's in town. He's like, "Hey man, do you mind if I come by?" And they'll get up and they'll do an open mic. Now I give them more time. I'm like, "Oh, do 20 minutes. I don't care." And that's a great chance for them. But, often as possible, hit open mics, hit as many as possible. I went to a show just last night, and it was a small audience. I wouldn't call it an open mic. It was a real gig, but it definitely had the vibe of an open mic as far as just a small audience. And, the comedians I was watching on that show, because I wanted to see some cats, they're really concerned. I'm like, this is a show where you can build a toolbox of tools to use when your audience sucks. So you might have a set material and a real comedy club. You're probably going to have your jokes that are going to work. And a real legitimate comedy club, it's easier to get laughs. An open mic or a really crappy venue that does a show is where you learn other techniques. How do you talk to an audience that doesn't care that you're on stage? They think you're annoying holding that microphone. I've seen techniques by national comedians where in that type of setting, they pull the microphone away and they just talk really loud. And these little techniques I've seen allow them to control an audience in a real legitimate venue later. So, you're practicing the art, you're finding your voice, you're working on material. And so outside of all that, a booker might look at you, might not, but I will tell you, I found comedians through my open mic because of other comedians telling me about how great they did at an open mic. And I hear about him, someone comes up, goes, did you hear about so-and-so at this open mic? I'm like, no. Open mic, don't care. They're like, dude, this guy killed it. And so, sometimes I'll reach out to him, like, hey, I heard you did a really good job. I have a off-night showcase. Why don't you come through and do a few minutes? I want to see what everybody's talking about. And I think the piece is that comedians, because you guys can build that alliance and friendship together, the key to an open mic to build a good relationship with the venue and the other comedians is to be respectful, be quiet, sit up close and listen so that they have somebody to work their material on. But after you get done, you don't leave. I see that so often in open mics is like they get up, they do their time, and then they walk out. So that poor comic who's at the very end is performing for me and only me. And it just makes it worse. So commit to the whole entirety of the open mic out of respect for your fellow comedians. And the hopes are that they do the same in return for you. Obviously, if there's another open mic you're trying to bounce around to, that's different. But I would say I've seen it before as I'm kind of pulling my names from the hat or however I'm doing the open mic, I might not pull a particular comic's name or not put them on the list to the very end because I know they're going to be a douche and they're going to leave as soon as they get done. I don't like that. And if that is a problem where they're not respecting the other comics on the open mic and sticking around, there's something in the back of my brain that just goes, I don't necessarily want to work with that individual. So your chances of becoming a host or a feature or even getting that guest spot on a different show, I don't care how good you are on stage. If I see you're not helping the comedy scene, that's a negative mark in my eyes. Hope that helps. If you have any other questions, hit me up. Good luck on your journey.